Hey guys, for the After Reviews here, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing The Promised Neverland Chapter 74. This is another new series I'm adding to my review schedule. Weekly I'll be doing One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and The Promised Neverland. I've yet to review this week's chapter of Black Clover, going to be doing that late, it's been really busy. And then I'll try to keep those 4 weekly and Attack on Titan monthly. If you have any other suggestions for series, go ahead and let me know in the comments if you would like to see me review anything else. Okay, getting into the chapter, we have Emma starting off by having a little mini flashback of some of the kids telling her that only Emma, Lucas, and Adam, those 3 kids, are the only ones not from, what was it? I have it written down. Grand Valley, not from Grand Valley, the Grand Valley Plantation. Emma's from Gracefield, I forget where Lucas is from, but he's from a different one, and Adam's from that new one that we're getting some information on in this chapter. Adam also doesn't have Norman's number on his neck. I thought he might be Norman, only mutated or changed in some way, but we see very clearly that his number isn't on his neck. So, not Norman, thank God. He knows his number still though, so I'm assuming Norman had some kind of interaction with him or helped him escape. And I'm looking forward to knowing more about that, because if Norman can get this guy who doesn't even really understand language to escape, or he helped him in some way, and I don't know why Norman would still be there. Maybe Norman's somewhere else. And we do see him in this chapter, but I think that maybe that might have been like a flashback, or just set a little bit in the past. I'm not entirely sure. We didn't really get a set like this is happening at the same time, or meanwhile kind of thing. So we'll have to see on that. Emma also takes a moment to mention that the symbol that Adam has on his chest it's nothing that Ray and Emma learned from the materials in the previous base that they were at and that all their other friends are still at. Yeah, nothing about that in any of those materials, so it must be from that new plantation that we learned about. And, I mean, us as readers pretty much figured that out, pretty much knew that, but now Emma is 100% positive on that. We see Norman immediately, and I get really excited because it's been too long. Like, I knew Norman was alive. There was no way he wasn't alive since we didn't see his dead body. He had, like, a really surprised look last time we saw him when he was expecting to die. I think it was pretty obvious he was alive, but we're finally getting him again. He's my favorite character, Emma being number 2 and Phil being number 3, then Ray, then it was curious. But, so now that we get Norman back, I'm super stoked. I love Norman. We see him saying good morning to a doctor, the doctor, I don't know. He just says good morning, doctor. I don't know if there's more that he talked to, or if the rest are just employees and there's one main doctor. We're not really very clear on that. But he says it really nonchalantly as if he's used to this. So I'm assuming at this point in the story he's been here for a little bit at the very least. And he's like, well, he's getting used to it. So he gets food through his little slot thing. And when he's eating, he drops his plastic fork, and immediately he gets a new one. Like, they just drop another one in there. So they're constantly monitoring him, and that's really creepy. Like, it makes sense, but like Norman has no downtime, no private time to try figuring anything out. He has to do everything in the open if he's going to escape from this place. Before he starts eating, I actually forgot to mention, they take his vitals and like see his health, and he just puts his hand on this crazy screen, and a bunch of numbers pop up. I'm not sure what all of them mean. Not a medical student. I'm a computer science student, if anyone's curious. But, yeah, so we see there's some crazy technology there that makes sure he's healthy. And right afterwards, he goes and he's taking, like, these tests. I think that he woke up at 6 a.m., and then 2 hours later he's taking these tests. And I'm assuming he does this every day. Because I mentioned they've been increasing the difficulty, but he just keeps scoring perfect on all 200 questions. It's always the same amount of questions with the same amount of time, and Norman just keeps scoring perfect. He's a genius. They also mentioned that the grayscale tests are far from easy. So, Norman, Emma, and Ray all always scored perfect on those as well. So they're all really smart. They're all geniuses, but Norman, I think, is head and shoulders above them. I mean, I guess we haven't seen Emma or Ray do either of these ones. But I think it's kind of implying that since the chapter title is a very special boy, I think Norman, his intelligence is a little bit above the other two, and his physical abilities are probably a little bit less. Actually, they might have said that earlier in the series. It's been a while since I reread it, so yeah, I think that was a cool little thing, and he was chosen for his intelligence, Norman believes, so with all these genetic modifications and stuff going on, I think maybe they want Norman because the smarter you are, like, the better the genetic modifications go, or maybe you can keep your sanity, but I don't really see why they'd want the kid to keep their sanity. After Norman takes these tests, we see him just kind of passing time in his little mini room, reading books, doing puzzles, playing chess by himself, and he gets like progressively more boring in each panel. Like more bored, I mean. He seems like he's bored out of his mind, and he's kind of annoyed that they're watching him, I'm assuming, too. We then get a little inner monologue of Norman saying he wants to see his friends, he wants to know that they're okay, he really is hoping that everyone made it out. I don't want to be the one to tell him that Phil and the younger kids are still there. I always forget that in the series, and then I just remember it. Oh god, Phil's still there, no! I hope nothing bad happens to them before Emma and them can save them, but that's for another video. We then get a flashback again, this one being back to when Norman was surprised. We just get to continue that scene, and we see that he was looking at an adult male who was revealed to be Peter Rattree, who, if anyone's forgetting from the last chapter, is the brother of William Minerva, aka James Rattree. So, Norman was adopted by this man, and now he's at this institution helping him with his research. Norman's smart enough to realize that he's not just, it's not like he's just being these tests for no reason, that they're going to keep him safe or anything. He's like, no, I am still in danger. This guy is working with the enemies, the demons. He's a predator. And again, just like nice, clear, level-headed stuff. Always good smarts from Norman. But Norman begins to wonder why he's the only cattle child there, the only like regular kid who they're just, like who they would normally raise and stuff. Like the rest are all genetically modified and kind of brain dead. And they're going through the trouble of making sure that they test his intelligence daily. So he's kind of wondering that, and he assumes that it has to do something with their research, which is pretty obvious. But he's like, why only him? It has to be because his intelligence is so high, but like, what do they need that for is what I'm still wondering. Progressing through the chapter, we see that Norman is walking, near the room with all the other genetically modified children, and that he can see them. He knows that's going on. Unless I had glasses, like only one way. I assume it's two ways, because Norman like kind of was touching the glass beforehand. I think that was the panel. He was kind of like, oh my god, and he just kept walking. But we also see that there's demons in there, not llamas, nothing like that. Apparently once they're genetically modified and brain dead or whatever, they don't even bother. Just have demons take care of them, whatever. And we see like another really buff guy like Adam, who I'm assuming is just like for more quantity. It's probably genetically modified just so they can get more meat out of one child. And then we see a bunch of like really enlarged heads and like weird body shapes, and that must be to make the brain bigger, because that's like the most delectable part. So like just getting more delicacy from one child as opposed to just a whole bunch more meat. Norman makes the observation or the hypothesis that his room has about 6 cameras, just based off something genius stuff. I don't know, and that he knows that they record the audio and that they're always watching him. He mentions that yet again. He's pretty worried about that because he wants to try to find a way to escape. All the doctors provide for Norman when he's eating are plastic utensils, so we can't use any of those for weapons. And the ventilation and like waste disposal areas are too small for him to fit through, so he can't do anything with that either. It looks like it's pretty locked down. He also has a little wrist tracker thing rather than in his ear where it was before. So they're kind of, I feel like it's kind of weird. Like, it's really obvious. Like, if you were going to put a tracker in there, wouldn't you want it to be hidden from them? I guess just because he's under constant monitoring, they're not really worried about it. And it's just easier just to clip on his wrist. I assume that's their logic there. They told Norman there's no escape. Don't even try, man. But Norman has not given up. He says he will find a way, and he will meet back up with his friends. And I don't doubt him. I don't. He's a freaking genius, and he's gonna do it. He's got it. I can't handle if Norman dies, like when we meet up with him again after we get reintroduced to him, or if he's genetically modified when you see him, my heart's gonna break. I'm not gonna be able to handle that. It's gonna be terrible. So hopefully he gets out, meets up with Emma and Ray, then they break the system or whatever, do something with the No Name Man and Lucas and everyone. I mean, a series when a lot of bad stuff happens, that it does make it really interesting, and darker stories like that I do like. But considering this is a shonen, I think they're gonna be pretty much okay. Like, at least the 3 main cast will generally be okay. If anything, I can see some of their family dying, like a couple of the kids and them learning a lesson from that and having to deal with that depression to get through that. But Norman, I don't think he's going to die. I really don't. Maybe they'll try to genetically modify him and he won't go brain dead. He'll be super buff. That'd be cool, because I'm assuming he wouldn't like being in that, and his intelligence would go down if he's not brain dead. That would be really interesting, actually. I just thought of that now. Didn't pre-script that or put that on my talking points or anything. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for this chapter. I loved it because Norman was in it. But, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more or if you have any suggestions or anything. And, well, I guess until next time. See you guys.